Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this session on Transformation Essentials. This is a webinar series that we've been running for the last few weeks, and today we are on episode 3 with a very special guest from Microsoft. So just before we get started, could I please ask if you can see the slides and if the audio is coming through? If you could please type in the chat so that we can confirm and move ahead. Hi everyone, I'm just trying to get a consent from, get intimation from you guys. If you can see the screen, if you could please confirm. All right. Thank you, Mr. Bhaskaran, for confirming. I hope the audio is also clear. So we will move ahead now. Thank you once again for attending this webinar series. My name is Vijay Anand. I present and host this series called Transformation Essentials, where we bring in guests from across different sectors very relevant to the educational institutions that we service as FACE. In the time of an extended lockdown and the impact that it has had on the education ecosystem, we believe it is important that stakeholders look at this time not only to strengthen their training and teaching and learning end goals, but also look at tech adoption and the platforms that can help them rethink the way they conduct teaching and learning. To that front, we have brought in Microsoft, and Ashwini Kumar, who heads the India unit for Fast Track program, is here with us. And I'm going to quickly introduce him, and then he'll be telling you as to how Microsoft is going to help organizations and education institutions here. Just a quick note, a very logistical note. If any of you students are here, this webinar may not be relevant for you. So request you to please sign out. This webinar is exclusively meant for training and placement officers, principals and college management and faculty who might be interested in what we're discussing. So this is not a student webinar. If any of you students have come here, you can probably sign off. Thank you once again. I will quickly introduce Mr. Ashwini Kumar now before handing over the the presentation to him. Ashwini Kumar is the area lead for Microsoft Fast Track program in India. He has over 15 years experience in solution selling, program management, project management, solution architecture, and multinational consulting for very large and complex projects. He handles pre-sales, technology support, escalations, and technical support. He spent more than 14 years with Microsoft, having started his graduate degree there. Ashwini, thank you very much for joining us and taking the time out to interact with our audiences. Over to you now, and I'll be making the presented change quickly.
Thank you so much, Vijay. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are. So if you could please share your slides, I will make that live.
So let me just share my entire desktop. Let me know if you can see this.
Yes.
Great. So first of all, hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashwini Kumar. I look after the adoption and onboarding of Microsoft 365 stack of products here at Microsoft India. And education adoption of Microsoft 365 is also a part of my business here at Microsoft India. See, before we get started, there are two, three things which I wanted to call out so that all of us are on the same page. First and foremost, I know most of us are at home right now, and I'm at home with two kids. So if you hear some kids crying in the background and all that, I apologize for that upfront because that's the state that we are in right now. So my sincere apologies on that. We are trying to control as much as possible, but some things are beyond control. That's number one. Second thing is a lot of you might already have existing relationships with Microsoft in terms of your licensing and your product purchase and things like that, right? This session is not about that. In fact, what we are going to talk about today is a part of a CSR effort being done by our company and how you can take advantage of that. So it's all about that. Let's not mix our existing licenses and whatever we're doing with our resale partners and all that. That part is not in scope for this discussion. That is number two. And third thing, in terms of setting up the expectation for the rest of the session, as well as trying to set a pace and tone for how this is going to work out. See, I have got a bunch of slides. There are a bunch of slides that I can finish in about 10 minutes if I keep on talking through that, right? But the way I look at and I do sessions, I believe that, I mean, it will be a failure for myself if I'm able to finish all my slides. That is not the way it is supposed to work in terms of we just running through a bunch of slides and then taking time to go through PowerPoint, right? That is not the intention. I would highly recommend that if you have any questions, anything at all, in terms of what does Microsoft do in remote learning, how can you avail this, what are the features, benefits, anything at all, this is the right time. You are spending about 1 hour with us, and our intention is that by the end of this 1 hour, you should go back with more knowledge and some logical steps that you can use to help your institutions. So that is the whole intention of the entire thing. It is not about going through a deck and then finishing one more webinar, right? So I'll highly encourage that if you have any questions, please ask them. We are here to make sure that all the questions get answered. So now getting started with the session, right? As I mentioned, this session is not about making a pitch for a product or requesting you to buy something or positioning something for a sale, right? That is not the intention. Let me start with what is Microsoft doing in the field of education worldwide, and what are some of the investments that we are making. So first and foremost, we are doing a ton of investment in terms of the content and the skill development of the entire world itself. There are a whole lot of free courses, free material, free software which is available that students and teachers can go and use to develop their skills and their potential, right? And I see earlier when normal classes were going on or when it was business as usual, this might not have been so important. But right now, in the current stage, where people are disconnected, there is social distancing, and a lot of learning, the onus for learning falls onto the individual itself. In this time, this kind of resources can be very helpful to you. We also donate a bunch of stuff and a whole lot of money to philanthropy. I mean, I don't want to talk about a lot of that, but that is something also which happens. More than that, we have about 400 plus engineers and multiple teams who are working only for education. And if you look at it like that, this is probably the largest investment that any MNC makes in the education space only, right? Whose core business is not education. So that is the entire thing which I wanted to highlight here, that there is enough going on in the Microsoft ecosystem where, people are dedicated only to help education. And more than that, the whole idea is also not to, be available and present point in time, but also lead for the future also, right? So there is a lot of thought leadership activity also going on in Microsoft at this point in time. And it has always been like that, in fact. And again, this is just distilling the entire previous slide into a bunch of numbers so that it is easy to get a grasp of what's happening and where we are. So now coming to the point of discussion for today's agenda, right? In terms of what's happening, I mean, in the world, I mean, it's all known to all of you. I mean, it's nothing new that coronavirus is there and everyone is impacted and things like that. But then what I wanted to tell to you in this slide and what is our commitment to you is that you are not in this alone, right? And we are together with you in this entire journey. And what does being together mean, right? Is it like we'll conduct some sessions and then that will be at the end of it? No, it is not like that. The commitment is far more deeper, and we are getting into providing a whole bunch of things to institutions at absolutely free of cost. In fact, in this 1 hour session, there is only one thing which is a paid service. Everything else that I'll talk about, everything that I will show, it's all available to you free of cost. And not only that it is available to you free of cost, there is also a cost to the institution in terms of getting the configuration done, getting onboarded, and making sure that all the accounts are created and all that. That level of support is also available to you. Thirdly, we give you software, we set it up for you, but still, I mean, you need training, enablement to go and get and use all that, right? So all that training, enablement also is available to you very much from our side. So we are trying to offer an end-to-end solution for remote learning for all of you. And then that can be useful in so many cases for conducting your regular classes, for conducting your events, for training and placement cell. In fact, we foresee that a lot of the interviews that will happen in this year for placements will happen over Microsoft Teams or channels similar to that. Why am I calling Microsoft Teams? Because all the major recruiters in the country right now who are doing bulk recruitment, all of them are on Microsoft Teams. I mean, there is no exception to that. You look at TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant, the major recruiters, all of them are using this technology right now. So it's very likely that going forward down the line, your students and your kids would also be getting into something similar. So that's the part. And again, this is not happening only in India. It's happening globally, and it is available to everyone. So what does remote learning mean in the current scenario, right? I will spend some time on that. So first and foremost, remote learning is not about setting up a video call or doing chatting and making it happen, right? I mean, that is the simplest of the things. It doesn't even get started in the entire remote learning paradigm of things. What we want to do is that majority of India does not speak English as a native language. Majority of India has problems in comprehending written as well as spoken English. And that is true, right? I mean, it's not a problem at all. That is the way we are. I mean, we are born with multiple languages and we live in a society where, I mean, we have multiple languages and cultures. So in this particular scenario, we are trying to see and figure out how can we make it easier and accessible for everyone. So that is point number one. Point number two is, learning is not only, as I said, right, it's not merely technology. You also need to empower teachers, you also need to empower IT and staff so that they can go ahead and run this with effectively. Because at the end of the day, they are the bodies of knowledge and they are the ones who are imparting the academic knowledge to the students. So how do we make sure that they are also feeling comfortable and they are also able to use it effectively, and then build on whatever technology is given to them, right? Not really, I mean, get lost in technology and then lose the entire relevance in terms of what technology does for them. And third thing, which is important in the entire scenario, is this is not point in time. In fact, this is something which will be ongoing from now onwards. This is what it looks like right now. So we have to figure out ways and means in which we can foster ongoing engagement. And then setting up a technology, getting people started is the easy part. The difficult part is keeping it running, making sure that, I mean, whatever you're delivering is actually matching whatever could happen in a classroom, right? So that level of engagement, that level of keeping it ongoing is what people will really need help with. And that is what we are providing support with in this particular case. And again, as I said, the key takeaway is that a lot of it, in fact, most of it is happening at no cost to you. In fact, it is also like you don't have to go and set up anything new at all, right? If you're using any existing LMS, if you're using anything else for video calling or anything like that, I mean, whatever I'm talking to you about, it can actually work with that. You don't have to get rid of your existing investments, and then whatever you have actually got already, we can integrate with that. So before I go into scenarios, I'll take a pause if there are any questions.
Hi, Ashwini. There are some questions around how Microsoft can help in terms of, does Microsoft have tools like Zoom, for instance, is what is predominantly on people's mind here.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Vijay, for bringing that up. In terms of video calling and audio calling software, right? Our offering in this space is called Microsoft Teams. In fact, Microsoft Teams is a much more comprehensive offer than a lot of the other competitors that are there in the market. And first and foremost, it is free of cost for all educational institutions and for any number of students. I mean, you don't have to worry about how many students, right? I'll give you examples. The entire DPS ecosystem in the country that is now going on Microsoft Teams. The entire government of Gujarat, which is the school education as well as the higher education. So all of these people are going on Microsoft Teams. So there is no limit on number of students and the things that Microsoft Teams can do for you. Also, recently there have been a lot of concerns about security and privacy, and Government of India has also released advisories in terms of not using certain kind of software. Currently, as we stand, and it has been like that for a long time also right now, is that Microsoft Teams and the whole solution we're talking about is completely compliant to all the government requirements. In fact, your privacy, security, all that is taken care absolutely. No problem at all. And more than a mere video calling or a voice calling solution, this is a comprehensive solution in which you can go and learn and run remote learning completely.
Right. If I may add, I think we are delivering this webinar through Microsoft Teams itself. So this is the kind of interface I think the audience should look forward to if they take this up.
Yes, great. And thanks so much for bringing that up, Vijay.
Thank you.
So in terms of getting into remote learning scenarios that we are primarily seeing across the world, right? And again, this is not that someone has imagined this and bringing it up on a slide. This is based on real data on what is happening across the world. So one scenario is that people might have got their existing LMS or learning management system, which they are operating. And then what we do is that we plug in the entire remote learning solution as a part of the LMS. And what it does is, in terms of doing assignments, submissions, conducting classes and all that becomes far more easier than doing it through an LMS. Also, LMS will have fixed capacity requirements and all that, right? With the entire solution, you can scale to as many people as possible. So your LMS will sit in the background and then host all the content. And the learning solution that we're talking about will be the front-ending part for all the users. It's a very easy setup. Second thing, as I was talking about, that if you're conducting classes and if you're doing a lot of it in English, right, there are challenges. I mean, we are all aware of that. So how do we make sure that, closed captioning is done, or whatever we are doing or speaking, that is captured in notes straight away in the classroom itself. So we have a feature, in fact, two features. First one is that you can actually turn on accessibility, and the text or the entire setup in the remote learning solution becomes more accessible, and there are examples which come out for you in the entire lesson. And secondly, you can turn on live captioning. So what it means is that, let's say if I'm saying something, the entire thing will get captured as a form of text, and then students can start using that as notes. That's a very useful feature in classrooms, and that captioning can be turned on by anyone. So there are also simple things like giving lectures, assignments, quizzes, and things like that. That is anyways, I think, straightforward, and all of us understand that. Now,
Ashwini, if I may interrupt, there's a quick question. Is there around these learning paths, where do I find more information about learning paths? If this is a question an audience member has to ask.
Sure. Thanks for bringing it up. So we have this Microsoft Learn, which is our central repository of all the learning paths and all the learning content. And it is actually the content which people at Microsoft itself get trained on. Right? It is not like something which is like not relevant and not current. It is always updated, always current. So you should go to Microsoft Learn, just search for Microsoft Learn, and it will take you to the repository. There are multiple learning paths across all the subjects and across all the topics that you could be interested in. So very good repository. Look at Microsoft Learn.
Just one more question before you continue, Ashwini. This audience member has been using a couple of different solutions for online meetings, and they often enable 1 to maybe 5, and each one of those licenses are paid. So what if we have around 30 to 40 classes to be conducted on a daily basis parallelly? Would Microsoft be able to provide that much of a free kind of a solution?
A great question, and thank you so much for bringing that up. Right. So as I was saying that there are entire state governments which are going live on this platform, right? So that would mean that at any given point in time, thousands of classes will be running together. So don't worry about 30, 40, hundreds of classes at all. I mean, you can run as many as you want in parallel. And then if you are facing any issues, it is not that you're on the issue alone. I mean, there is very good support available also to you in terms of how to get it done, how to make it configured and all that. All that support is available to you.
Thank you.
Great. So let me come to the next part, right? So see, one part of the entire solution, which a lot of people do, is setting up audio and video calling. That is a very simple thing to do. There is a lot of software in that in the market right now, right? But again, technical education primarily or professional education is not only about consuming content. It is also a lot more about doing hands-on activities. Right, and doing that in a remote learning environment and tracking who has done what and what has been done and what has not been done is very difficult. I mean, you can set up a video calling software and do online classes, but again, how do you make sure that people are doing labs also? How do you make sure that like hands-on activity is happening? So for all that, what we have is a bunch of services that is available to you, right? And again, it is something very easy. I mean, if you want, so AICTE right now has a bunch of about 171 softwares that they are conducting labs on across various streams of technical education. All of these software can be very easily done and deployed in less than 5 minutes. So you can have your entire computer science lab, civil lab, CAD lab, CAM lab, ANSYS lab, whatever you want, right? All these labs don't take more than 5 minutes to set up for as many people as you want. You want 10,000 people, it will happen just like that. So all that is also available to you in terms of getting more hands-on and more lab-based learning also to be done. One more thing is that, see, Microsoft is helping me right now in terms of getting the entire students' accounts created, setting it up and all that. But every year my students keep on changing, classes keep on changing. How do I go and manage that, right? How do I ensure that, I mean, my data stays current and relevant? So no matter what SIS, so SIS stands for School Information System. No matter what SIS you are using, we can plug into that SIS and then automate the entire configuration with that SIS. Or if you don't have an SIS, if you just have Excel sheets, then also, I mean, upload the Excel sheets and then the entire student, classroom, class mapping, subject mapping, teacher mapping and all that can be taken care of automatically. So it is not a lot of work at all in terms of configuring all this. And see, sometimes some things, I mean, we'll be there. Sometimes we'll be there to help you with this. Sometimes you'll have to do it on your own. But again, if you're doing it on your own also, there's a lot of content available. There's a big online community which is available to go and make sure that whatever you're doing, you can be successful with that. And again, coming to the point that Vijay mentioned initially, you can host live events. So an event like this for up to 10,000 users. So now I often get a question that I'm a big university. I mean, I have more than 10,000 students. What do I do for that? So it's very simple. I mean, you host 2 or 3 live events, right? I mean, you can have as many live events as you want. No problem at all. And also getting 10,000 people into one session is kind of, you have to look at in terms of what is the common theme that you want to go to deliver to all of them, right? So that is the kind of feature that you have for everyone and anyone who is subscribing to this. And then I already spoke about hands-on learning, so that part is there. so, and one more important aspect of here is that since students will be at home and then they'll be learning on their own, right? The parents and the guardians also have a big stake in the entire process right now. So in terms of how to enable them, how to, I mean, also educate them in terms of what is happening, and they don't get worried about it. And they are also trying to adapt and learn to the entire scenario, right? There are a lot of resources available to take care of educating the parents also. And there are other tools also in terms of going and creating content and creating short videos and creating multimedia interactive items. All that is also available as a part of the entire thing we are doing.
If I may just interject here, Ashwini, another question is around, is there a possibility to conduct exams or assessment without switching windows?
Yes, so right now, so there are two options in terms of two things in terms of conducting exams and assessments, right? First one is in terms of you want to do quizzes, if you want to give assignments, if you want to go give that kind of setup, that is available out of the box. There's nothing required to be done. There is no problem at all in doing that, right? Now, so one of the other challenges with exam is how do you restrict malpractices, and how do you make sure that, I mean, there is no cheating going on, there is no copying and things like that, right? So how can you conduct that securely for formal examinations? So for that, what happens is that if the student is running on a Windows 10 device, right? If the student is on that device, you can run Windows 10 on a secure mode. So that actually means that any copying, any cheat, so the secure mode is only meant for conducting exams. So if the student is on, and you can control that remotely also. So you can configure a device in secure mode and let the exam happen, and then you can turn it off. So there are various options available, from conducting simple quizzes and assignments to conducting a formal exam itself. And obviously, I mean, only technology will not help solve this. You will also require process level interventions to make it happen. And again, if you need any support in making it happen, more than happy to work with you and get it working for you.
Thank you.
Great. As I was saying, that there is no need to, so if you already bought something and if you've already got something which is working well for you, right? There is no need to rip and replace that, except for perhaps your video calling solution, because right now that is, I mean, government is saying that it is not very secure and it is not very, I mean, it is not taking care of privacy. So apart from that, I mean, if you have Canvas, Moodle, or anything at all in terms of your LMS, it can work as is. Second thing is that a lot of these remote learning solutions will assume that you will have a laptop at home. I know that a lot of students that I interact with, none of them have laptops at home. I mean, only the upper middle class and middle class people will have laptops at home. But I mean, people in rural areas, people who are, just trying to get to a higher education, right? They will not have access to such kind of devices. All they will have is a 4G connection, perhaps, and one smartphone. I mean, if that is available. So that is enough. You don't need a laptop at all. If you have a smartphone and a 4G connection, that is more than enough to run the entire setup. And also, you don't have to be a Microsoft, on Microsoft platform at all. If you're using Android, Apple, or if you're using a Chromebook, no matter what you're using, doesn't really matter. It works across all the devices. We are not saying that you start using only Microsoft. I mean, whatever you're using, I mean, don't go and change that habit. Keep it there. This thing will sit on top of it and work with whatever you're trying to do. And then the most important thing. So our whole idea is to make learning available and accessible and make it hands-on as much as possible to all the students, no matter where they are, right? And why this is important right now, I think it's a very common WhatsApp message nowadays that 2 years of digital transformation has happened in 2 months because of coronavirus. So whatever transformation would normally take about 2 years to happen, it has happened in just 2 months because of the COVID situation. And again, it is not a step which is regressive. It is a step which is a step forward for all of us. So we are anyways moving towards a digital future, and just that the pace has become accelerated. And the entire thing that we're talking about here is to help you get there and provide you support to make it happen for you. So in terms of what does Microsoft Teams does for you, right? And how does it make it inclusive and how does it make it available for everyone? So as I said, I mean, initially you can actually run text, voice, video chat. You can stream the entire classroom. You can record lectures. You can upload assignments. You can do the entire classroom aspect of it very easily. Second thing is that doing all of it will also require a lot of storage from your side. When you are creating assignments, you are creating tests, you are creating videos and all that, right? Where will you go and store all this? So what we are doing is that we are making storage available to every student and every faculty and every institution. So every student, I mean, doesn't have to worry about storage right now. It's about 1 TB of storage per student and teacher, and about 50 terabytes of storage available for per school, which is separately available from the per student number, right? And then that is available in a highly secure location. So don't worry about your data getting lost or files getting stolen or content getting compromised. That will not happen. So all this is coming to you actually free of cost, right? And then there is built-in reliability. All this is coming to you with a 99.99% SLA. So 99.99% of the time, this thing will be available to you. That is a level of reliability and accessibility which is coming to you as a part of Microsoft Teams. And as I said earlier also, if you're using any LMS, it's very good. I mean, Microsoft Teams can sit on top of it and get the work done. But if you're not using any LMS, if you're not using any learning management system, then also don't worry about it at all. I mean, in fact, the whole gist of the entire session is that going forward, you should not spend a single rupees on your remote learning solution anymore. Everything is done by you, by Microsoft, free of cost. So whatever are the basic functionalities of LMS, that is available between in Microsoft Teams as a built-in feature itself. And it can integrate with GitHub and other tools so that you can start using the entire other third-party integration to make it work if required. So again, this is getting into just summarizing about what Microsoft Teams does for you. It enables you to deliver distance learning or online learning. It helps you include all the learners, no matter what is the background, what is the learning speed, or how they are able to comprehend things. And also, if you have got something already available to you, you can connect to that also. And the most important thing here is right now, online learning is not heavily regulated by Government of India. But there is regulation coming into picture that all the learning has to happen in a very scientific way. And it has to be done in a highly secure way, and it has to take care of privacy. So that thing is available built into you here, right? There is nothing required to go and reinvent the wheel. Just adopt the remote learning solution that we're talking about, and then it will work for you as is.
A quick interruption with a couple of questions, Ashwini. The first question is around ability to conduct quizzes within Microsoft Teams when handling classes. Yes. Another question is around what does this licensing involve? So if this is a free licensing, what does this involve?
Great question.
I think details about how to get this feature.
Great question. So let me start with the first part, right, in terms of assignments and quizzes. So assignments and quizzes are a built-in feature to Microsoft Teams. In fact, I mean, as a follow-up to this, I can post a link to, some demo videos where you can look at how easy it is to go and create that. In fact, right now we are doing it with about 1,000+ schools or colleges in the country. And they're actively using it. It takes less than 5 minutes to learn how to make an assignment and how to grade, as well as see, class level reporting and all that, right? That is straightforward. So, and that is very easily searchable also. I mean, if you just search for creating assignments on Microsoft Teams, there's a whole bunch of content available on that. Second thing, in terms of licensing and how can you get this? So first of all, this is not really a licensing or a sales discussion that we're having right now. Whatever licenses you have, whatever you're doing, we are not touching that here at all. This is a part of a CSR program from Microsoft and is available for limited period only. So what we are doing here is that we are doing 3 things for you free of cost. First thing is that we'll give you access to the entire software, all the tool set, the entire setup, free of cost for, unlimited number of students. There is no limit to number of students that can be enrolled to this, right? So that is one. Second thing which will happen to you free of cost is we will set up the environment for you. So whether it is creating users, mapping users to classes, mapping faculty to classes and all that, right? All that setup also will do it for you free of cost, no charge at all to you. And there is no licensing required for it. Third thing is that we'll also conduct trainings for your faculty, your IT staff and your students if you want, to make sure they also know how to go and use that, right? So that is the third thing which is happening here. And all these three things are happening as an investment from Microsoft for a limited period and under the COVID-19 assistance program. So that is how, I mean, this is all being structured. Your licensing and all has nothing to do with it. I mean, it's all free available to you.
Thank you, Ashwin.
Okay, great. So, so far we have talked about the faculty and the student part, right? For IT staff also, I mean, this is not something which will add a lot of work to them. We are very confident about that. In fact, if someone can go and create a Facebook account or a Google account or any online account, it is as simple as going and managing those accounts in terms of managing the entire setup, right? And whatever things that you're using, it is much more simpler than that. Second, there is free training and support available for IT people also in terms of learning how to use it. And if you want to adopt a long-term strategy of going into remote learning, there is a lot of help and support available to you. And as I was talking about syncing the entire student portfolios and all that is automated. And I mean, that thing can be done by anyone, I mean, with limited knowledge of IT also. So that is the entire thing in terms of why choose this. This is a kind of a sales kind of a deck, sales kind of a slide rather. But I mean, the key takeaway here is the security and compliance. As I was talking to you about, the government of India is looking at regulating the online learning space so that remote learning is done in a scientific way and it is done in a secure way and is taking care of privacy. So all that is already available to you. I mean, it is not only for India, across the world. A lot of security and compliance factors are taken into consideration before we build this. And all the tools that you want, I mean, for remote learning, and I'll say confidently, all the tools that are available within this itself. It's all about getting it deployed and getting it running on your side. And it's available free of cost. Anyways, we have spoken about that. So now let me come to the one small part, which is the running labs and hands-on activities, right? So this is the part where you can actually go and run your labs or computer labs on the online environment. This thing is, again, this thing takes about 5 minutes to set up and can be done for as many students as you want. No problem at all. If you're running a hackathon or if you're running some training and all that, it is very useful for those such scenarios. This thing is not available free of cost. You have to buy this. But again, the reason I brought it up here is because it's also relevant to the entire remote learning space. If you want to conduct labs online, this is a standalone service which is available to you, which you can go and subscribe to in order to, I mean, if you want to go and use such online labs. So again, this is getting into the kind of whole how do you foster ongoing engagement and how do you ensure that once you have started, how do you keep the engagement going, right? So there's a whole bunch of support available from Microsoft in terms of going and how to go and do things. Or also there are a lot of gamified software and tools which are available that you can use for gamification and then running engagements and contests. And plus, you can also plug into our global community of educators as well as schools, where you can also learn from them in terms of what they are doing and what is it that you can do. And as I was mentioning earlier, the whole security aspect of it and the managing it is very simple and straightforward. So now let me spend some time on the security aspect. But before I go to security aspect, any questions? Or I mean, we are good to go to security.
Just a couple of questions. One is around what kind of and what level of analytics are available for admins. Second question is around, it's a very prospective kind of question. Will Microsoft come up with a platform to conduct coding tests?
Sorry, to conduct what? Sorry?
Coding tests, programming, coding tests, you know, like a lot of assessments happen where students are asked to write
Okay,
code.
great.
And it is
Coding tests, right?
Yeah.
So, great question. Fine. So, sorry, Vijay, I lost track of the first question.
The first question, level of analytics available for
level of
advanced.
analytics, right? So, in terms of, so there are 2-3 things that you can look at. First of all, there is very good usage level reporting available to you, and it is available only to you and no one else, right? I mean, if you are the school or institution, Microsoft does not have any view in terms of what is going on inside your institution, but you have access to all the usage and what's going on, who has spent how much time on which assignment, who has done correct and incorrect, and all that, who has spent how much time on which video and things like that, right? So that is available to you out of the box. Second thing is that for a classroom level reporting, you have got access to the entire analytics on grading subjects, tests, individual student performance and all that, right? So all that is available to you as a part of classroom level reporting. Third thing is that in terms of dashboarding, so there is a free tool which is available to you as a part of the entire thing, which is called Power BI. So Power BI right now is the world's largest visualization solution, which is used by most of the industries all over the world. It is available to you free of cost, in which you can go and create dashboards and reports for your daily as well as, I mean, whatever time frame you want, online classes, assessments, and user engagement levels. Beyond that, also, if you want to get your students to go and develop some additional custom reporting or something else, there are very good APIs which are available, and it's fairly easy to go and develop reporting solutions or getting into analytics with the APIs that we provide. So it's quite straightforward. In fact, people can do it as a part of their 5th semester or 7th semester projects also. So it's that easy. So all that is available to you in terms of getting the insights. And once again, as I said, see, it is not that you have to figure out everything. If you're going and starting with this, and if you need support, there is a lot of support available to you. Just ask a question and how to go and do that, what is available, what is not available. We have people to go and help you and make it happen for you. So that is on the reporting part or analytics part. Second thing is on the coding and tests and things like that, right? So we run 2 platforms. In fact, the very popular coding platforms right now, Visual Studio, as well as the GitHub. So both of them are, I mean, we own that, right? I mean, both of them are our services. So they have got a lot of built-in features in terms of running code, reviewing code, creating a repository, and then keep on developing on code, right? All these features are ready-made available. I mean, a lot of institutions are also using it right now. And again, this is also available free of cost to you, right? In that case. So, I mean, I will highly encourage that you start using these tools, and that will take care of most of the computer science level work that you want to go and take care of in terms of coding. And if you want to go and test and automate the testing of code and all that, Visual Studio itself has some features. More than that, I mean, we can subscribe to the Azure Virtual Labs. There, I mean, you can run code as a platform and then see their outputs and then judge them without having to get access to a high-end machine.
There's actually a feedback from one student who's already using Teams. Swati from Vardhaman College of Engineering. She's saying that they're already part of Microsoft Teams and it's quite useful. So thank you, Microsoft. Yeah. And one more question from Professor Saravanan. Is there any simulation games available for management students?
Okay, so in terms of, we provide you the platform for creating those simulation games, right? So we are more of a platform company in which you can go and create those level of simulations and those level of workflows and automations. In fact, I'll touch upon those scenarios also. But in terms of creating the exact content based on it, it will lie with the faculty. So if you have a scenario in mind that you want to create a workflow on, and if you want to create a simulation on, that is fairly easy to do. I mean, and I'll also show you how it can be done. Or with using what it can be done. But creating the exact content or the teaching material is something that schools have to do. In fact, I know whole companies who have been built on creating simulations just for, I mean, by using these tools, and they're giving it to a lot of institutions. They're selling it now, right? So creating simulations is not that difficult at all using what we're talking about. But we don't have something that I can give it to you right away because it is owned by the professors or the teachers who have built them.
Thank you.
Great. So talking about security, right? The reason I want to talk about security for some time is we should not take it lightly. I mean, see, we live in a country where, I mean, our unified ID and other large systems, all of them get questioned for privacy and security. So security and privacy are something not to be taken lightly at all. I know in your day-to-day business, I mean, day-to-day business, it might not come out as something which is important and it is not impacting your thing. But whenever there is a leak or there's a breach or there is something else which happens, right, it brings a lot of bad PR to everyone who's involved. So that is what Microsoft does here, is that we run perhaps the one of the largest global security experts team in the world today. And every year, so it is actually annually, we invest about $1 billion in just security. So the level of security that we are bringing into you is unheard of, unseen of. I mean, no one else does this in the world. I mean, this is not this. I mean, this is never. I mean, right now with anyone else, it is not possible. So whether it is managing your accounts, managing your devices, managing your apps, managing your information, whatever you want to do, all that is possible and all that is available in a very secure way. So I just want to highlight that keep security as the first thought, privacy as the first thought. Don't look at it as an afterthought, or don't go on adopting video calling and voice calling solutions. And then later on, I mean, you might have to repent for, I mean, if there's a breach or if there is something which, I mean, is not working out, right? Because the government has already issued advisories. The government is already telling what not to do. So let us stick with what is to be done and then work with that. So again, this is about creating simulations and gamification, right? So there are a couple of tools which I want to call out right now. One thing that you should definitely look at is in terms of looking at Minecraft for education. I know it looks like very school type and then very K-12, but I think all of you should look at Minecraft at least once. And this is the most popular product for Microsoft in the entire world right now. And it really helps you create gamifications very easily. And that is one of the very good examples of how to create and manage ongoing engagement. Second thing is Power Platform. Again, this will help you create automation and workflows and stuff like that for teachers and people who are creating content. So if you're doing a lot of reporting, dashboarding, a lot of workflow based tasks, all of that can be automated for you. And again, this is all free of cost, as I said, right? I mean, there's no license to it. You can very well go ahead and use it. And then you can create virtual bots, virtual agents, whatever you want, right? All that is available and it's in very easy to use format that you can go and create amazing content based on this. And this is the future. I mean, see, right now we see a lot more engagement happening on TikTok than on textbooks. The reason is that because TikTok is more engaging and textbooks are not that engaging, right? So how do you compete with that? How does a teacher compete for a student's attention, or how does a trainer compete for attention, right? They have to create something which is more engaging. So what are the tools to help you do that? This is the tool, right? And then using these tools, you can very well go ahead and create more engaging content, and it is very easy to use. So one example is a crisis communication power app, right? So this is an app which was created and which is available to all of you. I mean, if you want to go and subscribe to it, and it was done for the COVID-19 scenario. The whole idea was that, I mean, we should have an app which can notify all the users in case of crisis. So it's a very simple thing. It was built in like very small amount of time, and this serves as an example to all of you, right? And it is running inside Teams. So that is how it is. So this is the kind of powerful stuff that you can create using the Power Platform that is available to you. Before I go into summarizing this and wrapping it up, any questions? Great. So let me summarize in terms of how do you get started.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Ashwini. Sorry to interrupt. I had muted myself in before. So there are a couple of questions. Can I take them up now?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Right. Mr. Vamsi, Assistant Professor of CVR College of Engineering, wants to know how could we conduct, non-technical labs like civil, mechanical, etc. Is there any possibility to do that?
So right now the option that is available is whatever are software-based labs, right? You can do that, and whether it is conducting CAD or CAM or finite element analysis, any kind of those kind of labs, ANSYS, right? All the computer-based labs, you can go and do that. Having done that, and that is available to you, right? It's very easy to go and do. If you want to go and conduct civil and mechanical labs which are non-technical, there's also a way to go and do that. In fact, NIT Trichy and a lot of others are doing that right now. BITS Pilani is also doing it. What happens there is you have to build in industry 4.0 kind of a setup within the college or a school where the equipment and apparatus can be controlled remotely. And then building the whole time sharing setup is done and taken care by us. The end equipment is controlled and all the measurements are taken care remotely. And that's how labs are done. So I will say it's not that straightforward. It's not a very easy to use or easy to set up solution, but that kind of things are already happening in the country. If you are really interested in making it happen, more than happy to get into details of that.
Thank you.
Great. Coming to the last part, right? And I think the most important part. First thing is that how do we roll out the entire solution? How do we make it happen? It's all available to you free of cost. And by the end of the session, you will also get contact details in terms of whom to contact and how to make it happen for you. So that is happening for you, right? If you want to go and set up virtual desktops, the virtual desktop thing is not free of cost, as I called out. There is small cost associated with that. If you want to go and do that, that is optional to you. But that is also available. And as I said, we are doing three things for you. One is giving you the solution free of cost. Second is setting it up and deploying it to you at no cost. Third is enabling you to go and use that in a sustainable fashion. So all the three things are available to you free of cost and are available only for a limited period of time. So later on, once this offer is expiring, then we'll have difficulty in giving you all this assistance and deployment and onboarding. But right now, it is available to you. So that's a key takeaway for the entire session. And we are bringing to you one of the best remote learning solutions which is available in the world today. And you have got all the support and guidance in terms of making it happen to you. And my only request is that please don't think of spending even a single rupee on remote learning or video calling solutions going forward. I mean, it is available free of cost. You should not spend any money on that. So that's my key takeaway and summary. If there are any questions at the end, please feel free to ask. Or Vijay, over to you.
Right. Thank you, Ashwini. That was quite insightful about how much Microsoft has to offer to the learning ecosystem. And we've been, ourselves from FACE, we've been looking at these teaching and learning solutions in a very tokenistic, one platform, one app, or a one solution kind of a model. It's amazing how Microsoft Teams is bringing everything together in a very purpose-built kind of a way that can seamlessly integrate with educational institutions. So thank you very much for sharing those insights. So I'm going to just share the contact details so that people are able to approach us for kind of connecting with Microsoft and getting started with this. Ideally, it would help if the right stakeholder or the decision maker is coming in, so that if you contact our associate business manager from Focus Academy, Aditya S, he will collect all the requests and connect you to the right person in Microsoft and arrange for everything to be set up in your educational institution. So certain people, it will help to kind of follow processes within your procurement teams, or let's say if the IT admin is responsible for the entire setup, it will really help if you can put all of those contact details together and get the necessary approvals happening when you approach us, so that we can quickly facilitate with Microsoft on enabling all of these platforms in your institution. So Aditya S will be the point of contact for you guys. His number and email ID is listed here. So for those of you who have been asking about slides from this particular session, we'll be posting a recording of this webinar on our YouTube channel, Face Pulse. So you can have a look at it in case you missed the earlier part of Ashwini's presentation. So while I flash this info on the screen, we are also happy to take questions. So I have a question I have a question from Satish Kumar from Vagdevi College. Can I create a chatbot or any app for free? How can I publish it? I'm not sure if this is very relevant to this discussion, but Ashwini, would you have any insights on this?
Great question. So there are 2, 3 ways to look at it, right? In terms of creating a chatbot and making it happen. We at Microsoft, we have a philosophy that AI should be democratized. All right, everyone should be able to bring and build solutions on AI, whether it is bots or any other intelligence, right? So building bots on Microsoft platform is fairly easy. And I think if someone is familiar with writing a few lines of code, it does not take them more than half an hour to go and build that bot. So that is one. Second part is you can actually integrate chat bots within Microsoft Teams itself. So you can have automated bots which can look into the chat messages from Microsoft Teams and respond to them very quickly. And that is a very common scenario, and it is used for help desks and answering questions for teachers, right? So in fact, there are a lot of universities who have got bots in the classroom, and if there are any basic questions by students in the chat window, they will essentially answer that automatically. So that is being done very, by a lot of people. It's very easy to do, and for sure you can go ahead and publish that to the wider community also. That level of, community is also available to you. So creating bots, we highly encourage that, and you should really look at going and doing that.
Another question is from Mr. Vamsi from CVR College. They're using a Google Classroom as of now for assessment. Is there any compatibility with Teams?
See, right now our underlying philosophy is that whatever you're using, you can have Microsoft Teams run complementary to that, right? So that is not a problem at all. I mean, you can have both the things running in parallel. Down the line, we will see that, gradually, if you want to transition this way or that way, both the sides support transitions, right? If you want to take data from Google and you bring it to Microsoft, or if you want to take that data from Microsoft and take it to Google, all that is supported by both the organizations. And more than that, if you want to go and use your Google authentication to work with Microsoft Teams, that can also be done, so that people have a single username, a single password. Essentially, what they will do is that they will use the same ID and log into Microsoft Teams and then carry on their work. So it does not appear to them as 2 different systems. So all these 3 scenarios are possible, whether you want to use them together, move from one to another, or use them as one integrated solution. All these three things are possible.
Thank you, Ashwini. So that brings us to the last couple of minutes. I'm happy to take some questions, and once again, like to thank Ashwini and Microsoft for really helping us, reach out to our educational institutions who have been our clients with such interesting an offer in terms of quickly scaling up their online learning, teaching and learning models. So anyone who's interested from the educational institutions, request you to please reach out to Aditya. In the next series, I just wanted to quickly conclude about what is next. In the next series, we are going to be talking about placements, campus recruitment purely. So last year, TCS made 5,500 plus offers on CodeVita. So Karthik Raja, Vice President of Training Operations at FACE, he'll be conducting a session on Friday, 22nd May. So if you're interested in how you can increase placement offers through TCS CodeVita, please do attend this session. So having said that, thank you, Ashwini. So I'll wait for some final questions if there are any. Okay, there's a question. What could be the next steps after we reach out? How soon can we expect it to be integrated in our college?
Okay, great question, and thanks so much for asking that. In fact, we had missed that point. So the process is following. First thing is that you have to, commit to adopting this remote learning solution from the institution side, and then let us know that you're going ahead and trying to do that, right? One. Second is we'll ask you for a bunch of data for creating all the accounts and configuring all the classroom mapping and faculty mapping and all that. That typically takes about 1 or 2 days. right? So first part in terms of making the commitment is on your side. I mean, it is on your part, how long you take to go and get to that part. Getting the configuration done, and that part is about 1 or 2 days of work from our side. And then the third part is again, which will fall onto your part, is in terms of doing trainings and then getting people enabled and all that, right? So if you want to go and create or do trainings for 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 sessions, I mean, whenever you're able to schedule that, I mean, we'll be able to help you support and get trainings done for you like that, right? So of the 3 parts, getting the data ready is mostly on you. How soon and how fast you are able to get that. Getting the actual deployment and configuration done is a very small part. Third part, in terms of getting all the trainings arranged and then equipping people, that part will help you, but that is also lying on you. What we have seen so far is that on the quicker side, we have seen institutions come on board in less than a week. On the larger side, it has taken 3 to 4 weeks also, depending on how fast or how slow the institution moves.
Thank you very much, Ashwini. I think we are right on time and we will conclude our presentation here. Thank you to all the audiences and participants who have come and attended this webinar. I hope you found this useful. I hope you share this message in your institutions and spread the word so that everyone can take use of Microsoft's CSR activity. Thank you once again, Ashwini. It was a pleasure having you here and talking to you.
Thank you so much. Really nice talking to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.